Do you know who Noam Chomsky is?
Yes, I do. I have not met him, but I know him. I
And
know of him.
it seems like the two of you, in terms of foreign policy, are very much on the same page. But where you obviously show a big difference is in terms of economic philosophy. And what Noam Chomsky's big objection seems to be to capitalist libertarianism is that a free market, in his view, would be empowering private institutions to have dictatorial control over people's lives, and that it would create sort of a neo-feudalism, and that, if people can just fire you and take away your livelihood, that in itself is a form of violence. It's not the same thing as a police officer shooting you, but it is also a form of violence. So I just would like your response to that. Why is that not the case? Why is not having democratic control of workplaces, this sort of anarcho-syndicalism, why is that not the truly free option before us?
Well, he has a right point, and I'd probably agree with a whole lot of that, especially on the police, because I've spoken out strongly on this. But I think what he doesn't grasp is the non-aggressor's principle, because he's criticizing something that I probably criticize more than he does, and that is corporatism. The crony capitalism. This is horrible. But that didn't pop up out of freedom. That popped out of, government. They're always government protected. The government, the whole Federal Reserve System. I don't know its position on the Federal Reserve, but you can't be for the people, you can't be for liberty, and you can't be for getting rid of the corporations unless you have an understanding of the monetary system. And I would guess that he would say, no, we just have to modify it a little bit. Maybe the new approach to monetary system, pass the money out to the poor people, will take care of it. But no, I think where the disagreement would be on the use of violence, and he sees the corporate world. I mean, just look at, I was so optimistic about the greatness that would come out of social media. It turns out they're partners with the government.
Right.
If the government's not allowed to spy on us, well, the telephone companies will, and the social medias will. So that's corporatism at its worst. Now, I know the one thing is, it comes up frequently. I do know a few over the years that were very, very good on civil liberties and on foreign policy, but we disagree on economic policies because they had extra sympathy to make sure that the poor would be taken care of. One is Dennis Kucinich. He was one of my closest friends, and we worked a lot on issues. Ralph Nader is somebody who's progressive, and he's very good, and I respect him an awful lot. But I've talked to him a little bit about this subject. That crony capitalism, this type of system we have today, inevitably over history works toward a fascist system. And fascism can exist with ownership still being in the hands of the private entrepreneur, and that's what's happening now. That's why I don't think this march, Bernie Sanders and those others, has this march towards socialism. We're not going to have socialism, so we better worry about this system that's becoming very, very dangerous. And Chomsky and I bet you would agree on all of that it is a very dangerous situation, especially because they make all this money, or not all of it. The big deal is the military-industrial complex, and it's huge. But I would like to, someday I'll go check and see exactly where he is on monetary policy. But you represent the people and try to challenge this ruthlessness in the corporate banking world without looking at the monetary system and getting rid of this idea that you have a private organization who has total monopoly control of creating money out of thin air. It's the world currency. It's the reserve currency of the world, and they get to distribute the money, but they don't distribute it to the poor. And the main goal now, is supposed to be unemployment and price stability. But they have another goal, and that is maintaining the stock market at a certain level. And our president certainly agrees with that.
Well, just to let you know, because I have interviewed both you and Chomsky a few times, it seems like the two of you do agree on, 70% of the issues, I'd say. I think a main point of difference is around economic philosophy, and especially usage of terms, what qualifies as capitalism or as socialism. Yeah. Even that being said, he says that he does not want state force, military force being used to stop people from associating that way if they freely choose to do so. In a truly free society, wouldn't there be different economic systems in different places? And wouldn't some people be allowed voluntarily to have what some might call anarcho-capitalism?
Sure. If certain people, for example, decide we want to be slaves, I don't think they should be stopped. I don't expect it to happen if the options are available, but I wouldn't like to see a society in which the force, concentrated force, including military force, blocks a group of people who say we want to be slaves of some master. And if people say we want to rent ourselves to somebody, which is temporary slavery, as classical liberals described it, I don't think that should be barred. But I think that better options can be provided, which people will accept.
Which I think you would say the same thing about libertarian socialism, is that if people want to form a commune, they should be free to. Yeah. So it seems like the libertarian left and libertarian right, at the end of the day, could and should agree that in a free society, people should be free to engage in whatever forms of economic association that they choose.
Yeah, no, that's the point. But a libertarian is... a decent libertarian is very willing to allow you and another group to become socialists. You take care of yourself, but don't come with a gun and take from us. You walk out, you say no love.